Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin Strange. I am a cartoonist, novelist, and independent filmmaker. And I am here today to share with you my love of comic books. I am joined today by the doctor, the PhD of comic books, Dr. Ben. And we are here today not to talk about Cerebus,
No,
not to talk about Turtles number 8,
not
but to
turtles.
talk about Spawn number 10, the bizarre crossover with Dave Sim's Cerebus character, and to ask the question: is Todd McFarlane jealous of the career of one Dave Sim? And we have a few pieces of evidence that will maybe sway you, our our precious
Our
dollar
diggers.
bin diggers, our precious dollar bin diggers, into swaying our way into believing our bullshit. Dr. Ben and I are both uh, comic book creators. We have our own books that we create. You can, if you enjoy our work, you can send us a super thanks. All of the proceeds of our super thanks go to upgrading camera equipment, microphones, editing software, laptops, and the such to make this a better show for you with your support. And your support also helps us make more comics of our own. We don't need this in here, do we? We've got a couple comics by Dr. Ben, a couple comics by me. You can read my comics at my Patreon below for only $2.99 a month. You can become a member of this channel on YouTube for only $2.99 a month, and that gets you access to the videos of the future, videos we've already shot
Time
that are
trap.
behind the members only paywall for weeks, sometimes months in advance. We're about to start recording our October Monster Month comics, where we only cover creature comics, monster comics. And right now we're in the month of September. And let me show you a couple of my books you can get on my Patreon. I've got the Too Many Dabs issues 1 and 2 available there to read. I have a gnarly underground comics style in full color that you can read. I have dozens of, well, hundreds and hundreds, almost 700 pages of comics that you can read there, including Too Many Dabs and my brand new comic, The Wizard of Ganj, available now at the Patreon. The Wizard of Ganj, the story of Nixon and Hogan as they this is the origin. The Wizard of Ganj is the origin story of the. If you've been following Nixon and Hogan for a long time, it is the origin of the Colombian smokeweed and where Nixon and Hogan get the Colombian smokeweed from. This dastardly weed wizard steals the precious Colombian smokeweed from Nixon and Hogan. You get to find out that origin and more at the Patreon for $2.99. Dr. Ben, what do you got?
I got,
What do you got, Dr. Ben?
of course, copies. You can get Stanley's Tales of Terror. I think I got relaunch on there. If you subscribe, if you go over and get, you don't even have to subscribe to the Substack, but it's better if you do. You can go peruse Dr. Ben Substack. You find all these on there for free. These, oh, I forgot. I don't know why I don't have my my From Hell one. I have a comic about Jack the Ripper. We've got relaunches on there. My Mud Flood manga, we'll call it. I like that's a good title, huh? The Mud Flood manga. It's all set in a insane asylum. This girl wakes up covered in bandages. Cat nurses are there. Giant knights are outside with wings. It's a whole.
Go back to that. I like that. I like that giant. Let me see that. Let me see some more of that giant.
There's a good picture of him.
That thing's real cool. Hey, that monster next to it's real cool too. What is that thing?
That is the dragon which he calls out. That has what? It's the dragon ruined. I think the dragon did something to the insane asylum. Yeah, it was like digging around down there, and then he comes in. They start fighting. He pulls the tail, pulls it out, starts fighting with it, and then
Then she becomes a punch.
Yeah, and then it's the Punisher. No, I haven't published the rest. I still have a whole bunch more pages that I got to scan in and put together for relaunch. But yeah, all of that's on there. The other draw comics the 1963 way. All my stuff's on the Substack, and then I'll be having, and my current one, Let Us Get, which is the the extra fun one. I still got all the old stuff on there. But yeah, it's just this fun one with kind of schmoo version of myself.
The schmoo version.
Famine, one of the four horsemen. He has appeared in the comic as well.
I don't know about that anatomy on that horse, Dr. Ben. Maybe you could take an anatomy course.
Yeah, my anatomy.
I'm kidding, of course. This is in reference to our American Splendor video where Joyce, what is her last name?
Brabner.
Harvey Picar's wife, the late Harvey Picar's late wife, Joyce Brabner, personally told Dr. Ben that he was not a good enough cartoonist to participate in their Donald Trump protest at the Republican National Convention. Was it 2016?
2016, up in Cleveland. C-Town.
Yeah, C-Town in the house. All right, let's get started. Okay. You can find all that at the link below to Dr. Ben's YouTube channel. That'll link you to his Substack. That'll link you to all those videos. But today, we're here to talk about a curious situation. Todd McFarlane, arguably one of the best modern cartoonists of all time. Would you agree with that, Dr. Ben?
Sure.
His runs on Spider-Man, the creation of Venom, his runs on Spawn, one of the best independent comic books of all time. Would you agree with that? At least the first 20 or 30 issues. Would you agree with that, Dr. Ben?
Trend setting is what I would call
trend setting. He was such a unique he is such a unique cartoonist. But Todd McFarlane seems to have had a complex about one Dave Sim that makes no sense. The first 9 issues of Spawn, sure, he brings in some writers, some heavy hitters. He brings in Alan Moore. He brings in Neil Gaiman. Who else does he bring in besides those two in those first few issues? I forget who else.
Frank Miller.
He brings in Frank Miller.
Oh, Grant Morrison. He brings Grant Morrison in on like 15 or 16, I think.
But he's just sort of got them writing his story, and then out of nowhere, in only 10 issues into Spawn, he brings in Cerebus, Dave Sim's seminal black and white indie comics character that by the time that the 1990s rolled around and Todd McFarlane was doing Spawn, had dozens and dozens of issues of this black and white comic that is in the first 25 issues.
180 or so by the time Spawn was coming out. 180, 190.
And the first 25, 30 issues of Cerebus was completely written and drawn by Dave Sim before he brought Gerhard in to do the backgrounds. But Dave Sim wrote and illustrated every single issue. And so Dave Sim, according to Dr. Ben, I haven't read this anecdote myself, but according to Dr. Ben, Dave Sim took a bunch of LSD and was writing or drawing or ruminating over his creation and decided that Cerebus should be 300 issues and out.
Yes.
That he should write and draw 300 issues of the book, which took him decades. And it started in the 1970s and ended in the early 2000s. Dave Sim was the first American cartoonist to write and draw 300 individual issues of his comic book, right? Did he even surpass the Peonies? Did the Peonies ever get to 300?
No, they were never at.
Of ElfQuest?
No.
And the Ninja and Eastman and Laird petered out in like the 20s, didn't they?
Right, they started bringing in other people. Yeah, like in the.
Dave Sim never brought anyone else except for Gerhard. He never had guest artists. He never had guest writers. And for decade after decade after decade, and to a fault, I mean, Cerebus gets weird and unreadable at a certain point. It goes from being one of the best indie comics ever made and ever drawn, ever written, to being one of the most bizarre and unreadable ever written. But somewhere along the way, Dave Sim got up Todd McFarlane's ass, and Todd McFarlane decided that he wanted that title. He wanted to rob Dave Sim of the 300 issue title, the first and only independent comic to go 300 consecutive issues by the same writer artist. Here's the problem, Dr. Ben. Todd McFarlane didn't write or draw 300 issues of Spawn, did he?
Technicality, but I mean, right.
I found a wiki on online, and
He
I just
draws
went through.
most of the 300, though, right? Out of the
Yeah.
300, how many did Todd McFarlane draw?
No, I don't think he drew over 100.
No.
He started handing off the drawing and writing duties to other people a long time ago.
Right.
And he only, according to this wiki, he only came back right around issue 300 to claim the title of independent artist and writer to do 301 issues. And even according to this wiki, Todd McFarlane only has 200 something credits on his own book. And even his newest, like I'm looking right now, I'm on this wiki and I'm looking at issue number 346. He's not listed as the writer or the artist or even the cover artist on issue 346. So not even 50 issues into the record-breaking 300, and Todd seems to already be gone. But all the way back, this sort of like weird competitive, like I don't like Todd McFarlane is one of the most successful guys. Would it be a stretch to say that Todd McFarlane is the wealthiest comic book creator of all time as far as money made in the industry?
I would put it between him and like Alan Moore or I don't know who else would be up there.
Todd
Maybe
makes money off every single issue of this. You think Alan Moore's made more money?
I can imagine so. Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I can see
definitely he's in the ranking for the top one, if not top three spot of wealthiest off of comics, wealthiest creator of all time. And yet Dave Sim somehow got up his ass.
he
and
did.
So he all the way back to issue 10. He asked for permit. Not only did Todd ask for Dave to write issue 10, but he asked for permission to draw Cerebus. So this is actually Todd McFarlane's version of Cerebus.
Oh, see, I thought
Todd.
okay.
This is Todd on the art, right?
Okay.
Todd on the art, not Dave.
Not doing the same like with the Turtles, how they're like sending.
Oh, if you watch our video on the Ninja Turtles number 8, Eastman and Laird actually mailed the boards to Dave Sim, and Dave drew and rewrote and redrew anything he wanted on the pages Cerebus appeared, and then mailed the boards back to Eastman and Laird to publish issue 8, which is epic, which is amazing. And that, to me, that's true reverence. That's true, like that's Eastman and Laird like really giving back to Dave Sim. And I guess that's what Todd, in some weird warped way, is trying to do with this book. But
right.
this book was from 1993, and over 30 93 03 13 23, what is it, am I wrong, 90s,
31 years.
Yeah, 31 years later, Todd tries to rob Dave of his record-breaking 300 issues because
because the 300 issue thing, that was a while. That was a couple years ago.
That was maybe like 2019, 2018, 19,
yeah,
2020. But it was still 30 years ago. I mean, it was still almost 30 years. If it's not right at 30, it's right at 30 years. It's a little under. But
it's just such an odd thing because, like, what he started, was he just doing the pencils or he was just doing the inks with Greg Capullo? Because he brought him on.
I believe Greg Capullo did the pencils, and that was pretty early on, right?
That's what I'm saying. He brought him on like in the 20s, just doing it like right off.
Was it the 20s or was it even earlier than that?
Capullo did like the whole thing with Grant Morrison, which was like 14, 15, and 16.
Most expensive comic ever made.
Let
me look at issue 11. See if Greg Capullo was brought in.
No,
you're gonna say no. That's all Todd.
Say no. That's all Todd.
There's your boy.
There's old Tom.
Tell him about Tom while I'm looking through.
Yeah, Tom. That's who should get the award is Tom Orzechowski, because he has lettered every single Spawn.
Every single issue of Spawn. So let's go.
On top of lettering, like what, 1 million X-Men comics and 1 million.
Issue 18. Pencils Greg Capullo by 18.
Oh, I didn't know it was art.
Look, he's off. Look, story Grant Morrison, pencils Greg Capullo, inks by Art T. Bear and Dan Panosian. Panosian. So he's already gone.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Already gone by issue 18.
I think he comes back after this, though, right?
Sure,
he comes
of course
back
he does. He comes and goes, but Dave Sim didn't come and go.
Right.
Dave Sim was a singular creator with Gerhardt on the backgrounds, but by 18, he's already gone. Art T-Bar is already handling the inks on Spawn on this, which are great, by the way. Like Art T-Bar is he's a motherfucker, and I'm glad he's drawn Spawn because he does these amazing characters. And Greg Capullo, both Greg Capullo and Art T-Bear are masters in their crafts. Like this, this doesn't even look like a Todd McFarlane Spawn, but it looks awesome, right? It looks awesome. I'm not taking, so I don't want you to think, Diggers, Dollar Bin Diggers, I don't want you to think that I'm taking anything away from Spawn as a book. That's Greg Capullo on the cover, even. Like that's not even a Todd McFarlane cover. You can't even say he's on the cover. Even 20 issues in.
I think he's back on this though, right? Or no, that's Greg Capullo too.
Oh, that's for sure Greg Capullo. Yeah. Just by looking, I mean that's a signature right there.
Where does this is Todd back writing though?
No, this is Tom Orzechowski, who's the letterer. He went ahead and wrote. If lettering every comic book in the world isn't enough for you, buddy.
Wow.
Yes, the story credit on Spawn 19, and Andrew Grossberg, pencils by Greg Capullo, and then inks by Mark Pennington. This is you hate the.
Yeah,
that's great though. Look at this little guy. I love Spawn. Spawn's one of my favorite comics of all time, and we're going to cover a bunch of Spawn during Monster Month in October.
Is that supposed to be? Oh no, is that supposed to be him? Like a flashback of him?
Yeah, I think that's.
Or is that supposed to be Chapel?
Al Simmons? No, I think that's supposed to be Al Simmons.
Okay.
Or it could be Chapel. I'm not sure. Look at that. That's killer work. So I don't think that Spawn.
So where does Todd come back at all? Is he back in the next one?
Let's look.
Now I'm just like, wait a second, it's all a lie.
That's 1819. Let's look at 20. Tom Orzechowski, Andrew Grossberg, pencils. Okay, so he inks. He is back.
He's back to
help. He is back inking, but he's only co-inking with Mark Pennington. But if you want to technically, his hand was on the work of Spawn 20. It was, but it wasn't on 18 or 19. Let's see if he came back for a one-off or if he works on issue 21.
Yeah, see that.
I wish I had more of these. I peter out here in about 2-3 more issues. I wish I had Spawns up into the 30s, 40s, 50s, 100s, 200s.
Right.
But I don't have that. I don't have that collection.
Okay.
So Todd McFarlane story and art and inks on Mark Pennington. So no. He doesn't take credit for pencils. So I guess he penciled and inked, and just called it art. So, oh man, that's the
He might have had like
that's from Batman.
other
That's
guys.
from this. I guess this is the first issue after Batman versus Spawn, where he takes a batarang to the face and shoelaces his face back together. Oh, I love it.
Okay, so
I love
21,
it.
he's back. Okay.
So 20 and 21, he's back. Let's see if he's in 22. Todd McFarlane, story and art. Oh, so he did pencils and inks for 22. Dedicated to Frank Miller for some reason.
Yeah, every one of them is always dedicated to someone. It's just like,
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at, I mean, you can. This is 100% a Todd McFarlane splash page, and he's great. I mean, there's no taking. I mean, Greg Capullo is a master, but Todd McFarlane is a singular force in comics. I mean, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to make it big for me, so I can kind of take a look on the camera just how great that expression is. These hands and force perspective.
the way he does that cartoony rendering, and think about like the way like Sam Keith does that too.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of crossover there.
I mean, I don't think people complain about the 90s, the late 90s and the early 2000s as like, you know, when comic books jumped the shark.
Right.
I love this style and I love this era of comics. What year was this? This was 94. This is right smack dab. Like this is like on the crest of the comic. Let me get my hand right. This is like the crest of the comics crash.
Right.
Comics crashed in like 95, 96. I think this is just amazing. This layout, both these pages, this 3-panel page that accompanies this splash page. Look at this Spawn. This might as well be a silhouette, but he went ahead and cut and it's only a tiny bit of his face that's in silhouette. Look at this. And this mug, the mugging that he's
is like such a weird, it's almost like a
well, this is Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man, right? He would do this face with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I can see that.
All the time. Just great. Like you said, it's got that Bernie Wrightson look to it. You know what I mean? It's got that Sam Keith cartoon, but over rendered, but also cartoony.
Right. It's like the cartoony where it has all that over rendering. Exactly. Like that face, the middle panel.
Yeah, the middle panel here. It's cartoon. He's got the big bulgy cartoony eyes, but over rendered. This was the only era that this was in mainstream comics. This came and went late 80s to mid 90s, and then it's gone. Look at this look at this Spawn. The chains blocking these bullets from these fucking faceless henchmen. Bracka, 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 click, click, click. I love it. I love it.
It's kind of like, I want to say like off topic, but what it makes me wonder is if we were to compare like Stephen Platt from this era to like Don Simpson's Megaton Man. Right? If you were to take Don Simpson's Megaton Man, but then just render it with all that weird all those little lines and explosions and grit of like Stephen Platt. Is Stephen Platt just like the hardcore version of Don Simpson, basically? That's.
I don't have.
I'm gonna have to do.
I don't have Megaton Man handy, but I do have Stupid. Or I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that's Don Simpson right there.
Yeah. So imagine, pull up. Well, yeah. If you open any of his splash pages in there of like the characters. This is, of course, Don Simpson's parody of the Image creators, where each of them is. Look
at this. This is awesome.
Jim Valentino is like an ape.
Here you go. Man, Alan Moore writes Spawn number 8.
And they were all playing.
Poster insert by Frank Miller.
They were all playing off each other too, because then Eric Larson starts doing Savage Dragon ads but just with himself. Like Eric Larson writes Savage Dragon. Like every ad would just be him.
It's a crime that I don't have the whole initial run of Savage Dragon. I only have 2 issues of this, and that is a crime. I need to make that up. So this is him taking the piss out of Todd McFarlane. This is Todd McFarlane Spawn shit right here.
Well, right. Well, because I think they were still trying. That's like issue 8. So that's
Creator,
they're still trying to.
They're trying to tie it in. Like this is part of the same universe.
Yeah.
So these same like talking heads on the TV news stations are covering all the superhumans. This is, Eric Larson, the person is, you can say what you want to about him. He's a little sus.
He's closer.
Creator, writer. I'm sorry, what'd you
say? He's definitely closer to the Dave Sim kind of record than Todd.
He's definitely approaching 300 issues of Savage Dragon, right? As the creator, writer, penciler, inker. Has he, other than that one like weird crossover where everybody did everybody's book in the midnight, like right at this peak, like 94, 95, has Eric ever let anybody else touch Savage Dragon?
I'm gonna go with I have no idea.
I don't know either, but it would be. I think it would be safe to say no, and we can let the dollar bin diggers in the comments if you want to correct us. Has Eric Larson ever let anybody pencil or ink or write Savage Dragon other than himself? Let us know. This is the Freak Force, right?
Yeah.
Here. This is the Freak Force.
That is the Freak Force.
I have a ton of these Freak Force comics we can go over. As like retro 80s comics. I love them. I think these are awesome. Especially anything Eric Larson touches, I think is great. Now Joyce, what is her last name again?
Brabner.
Joyce Brabner might argue that Eric Larson needs to take an anatomy course.
Right.
Because these anatomies are so bizarre. But I love them. This, for me, is comic books. I don't want any more or any less than this splash page right here of the Freak Force. This is great. This is great stuff. This dude's getting blasted up into the background.
I can't say anything against Eric Larson's like his drawing. Like it's definitely like if I could draw like that, that's what I would be doing. I'd just be like, all right, I'm just drawing a bunch of crazy.
You could draw this, dude. This ain't much. There's not much to this. It's rendering. The majority of this is rendering and coloring. Like you telling me you couldn't knock out a pencil line of this? Sure, you could. I could. You could.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
The flash on this is mostly these big. It's all the flash, right? It's these big, like sound effects, and it's the coloring.
Oh no, like the speed lines and stuff. I guess I could do like a. That's what I'm saying. It's like that's just not like how I naturally.
You could do this panel. Anybody could do this panel. He's not some like the fact that he draws these big muscle characters always in action is awesome, but it's not impossible. This isn't something that this is something that any competent cartoonist could do. He just takes it to the extreme. He takes it as far as it can go.
Is like that's like how it looks like that's just like what he naturally draws. You know what I mean? If you're like,
sure. This is just him throwing.
Yeah, dude, he's just gonna be like, it's gonna be that.
This is just him throwing.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like if I sat and like was like, okay, I'm gonna draw a Twisted Monster by Jay Lee. Okay.
Dr. Ben's getting wet.
Yeah,
I
all right.
His mouth's watering. Hang on. You want to see it?
I do.
Hang on. You want to see it?
Okay. He's kicking Super Patriot's head.
Dude, I've got.
I like it. Like that's.
I've got some Super Patriots from Image. They are great, and I'm going to do a deep dive into the first 4 issues of Super Patriot. Yeah, it's kicking his head off.
Is that like the entrails of his neck that are trailing?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Does he not have his? Or wait, is his boot shattered? Is that what we're supposed to?
Yeah, his boot broke on Super Patriot's head.
What? I don't know if that's how a boot would break.
It's coming off in like square chunks.
Why
like it's shattered like it's glass.
Right. Like,
Wearing a glass leather boot.
is that
Like this
really what
one's
it would do?
no.
I like it. Like, I'm not complaining, but the foot definitely is kind of odd. But next issue of Vanguard poster, yeah. And Jason Pearson died. Was it last year?
Did he?
Yes.
Was it died suddenly?
Yes. Not to laugh at his
Don't
past.
you dare ask why. Don't you dare ask how.
Yeah, it
This
was
is the whole. This is the whole Freak Force issue. The Freak Force is in this whole. Does he do Freak Force? I don't think I have it handy.
I
Is
don't
Eric
think
Larson
he
the Freak
does. I got a couple issues of it, but I haven't really looked at them to see who. I think Mike S. Miller does some of the Freak Force inking, perhaps. Maybe some of the pencils too. I don't know.
Butt kicking action. Nuts.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Strange.
It's Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Mr.
I'm going to be honest with you. When I saw the Vanguard comic as a kid, I thought it looked just absolutely stupid. I was like, get the fuck out. What the fuck is this? His eyebrow things and point. No, that killed my entire interest in Savage Dragon, actually. Like, I was getting the Savage Dragon, and then I saw the Vanguard thing come out. And then that was about the time that Max started coming out and Pitt. So I was like, no way am I reading Weird Antenna Guy when I can be reading Max.
Weird Antenna Guy. All right, let's get back to the point at hand, Ben. Let's get back to the point at hand. And then
It's
let's
like
get out.
a 90s flashback episode. This is...
Let's get back to the point at hand here. Spawn number 10. Written by Dave Sim. Drawn by Todd McFarlane. There's only about 5 pages worth of Cerebus in this.
Right, but I mean, the whole story is by Dave Sim. So it's this whole story
And
of...
the idea is that these creators are all held captive.
Right.
And that these creations are held captive, and these creations are not able to the creators and the creations are not able to prosper together, because these creations are owned by corporations, and these creators are just hired guns. And this is sort of the visual through Spawn and Cerebus telling of the idea that liberating creations and creators and allowing the creator to own their creations is the ultimate goal of cartoonists, of comic books.
Stop the exploitation of the cartoonists.
To stop the exploitation of the cartoonists by the corporations that own the
blow up the what is he even blowing up? Like, is that...
I strike, no effect, none. What does it say here? It is the Violator.
It's the Violator.
It is not the Violator. A woman figure with a Violator's head, blindfolded, holding a set of scales. In one of the pans, all the wealth of the world. In the other, a black, shriveled heart, awash in tears. You failed, buddy boy. You failed. You failed. You failed. You failed. You failed. He wears a long dress made of dollar bills. There must be 1 billion of them. More, probably.
Dollar
and then the Violator, not the Violator, is gone, and there is only me. I am not Spawn. And the line of hooded men behind me, weeping softly. Behind the bars, the Star Child, he who came first, the one who is the basis for us, for all of us, says one word. Doomsday. There is no fear in his voice, no despair. It is a simple statement of fact. And then all is quiet. The silence is deafening. The silence is agony. Spawn. Come on, let's go. But I have to save them. You can't. It's best not to think about it. Cerebus has been here 15 years. Cerebus knows. Who are they? Superheroes like you. And these men, they're creators, the ones who sold them. Like Cerebus said, it's best not to think about it. Come on, Cerebus will take you home. I live here? Nah, this is Cerebus's home. Kitchener used to be called Berlin, but this is King and Scott Street. Cerebus grew up here. Peter's place is on your left. Cerebus spends a lot of time here. Everything is gray. Black and white and gray. Oh, Spawn. Oh, Spawn.
Black and white and
Oh,
gray.
what a beautiful house. Yeah. Welcome home. Home? My home? Sunken living room. A whole bunch of bedrooms. Fireplace. Grand piano. Great view of Mount Hood. Hot tub. Satellite dish. And about 1,000,000 hockey cards. Your wife will be home soon. Her name is Wanda, too. No big surprise. She's a high school teacher. A real looker, too. You'll see. Oh, and you're going to love this. You and Wanda have a daughter. Dada. I said this in our video about Ninja Turtles 8, where we briefly looked at this. This is fucking nightmare fuel. And you were asking, like, isn't it supposed to be a black daughter? No, it's supposed to be Todd McFarlane's daughter, not Spawn's daughter. This is it's supposed to be Todd McFarlane's daughter. Look, have you ever seen a more hideous baby in comics?
Well,
I mean, this is some. I mean, Todd needs Joyce. What's Joyce's last name?
Brabner. Yeah, that she should have been on that.
Joyce Brabner might tell Todd McFarlane he needs to take an anatomy course on babies. Spawn's look, he's crying. He's crying. He says, hey, it's okay. Let it out. How? Your creator is still with you. He didn't sell you. Dada. It's as simple as that.
Why is it a white baby?
Because it's Todd's baby.
But why is that doesn't make any
What is it, baby? Huh? What is it? Her name's Cyan. Cyan. It's a beautiful name. She's beautiful. Babies all look like Winston Churchill to Cerebus. Hey, to each his own. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. I feel like I'm dreaming. You'll get used to it. Can you stay? I've got 1,000,000 questions. Bring. Hello? Who? Oh, it's for you. Hello? Hey, Mike, what's up? Yeah, sure. I'll be in after the Leaf game. Yeah, they're at home with Detroit this weekend. Yeah, I'll see you then later. Daddy's home, baby. Daddy's home. Thanks for the invite, Spawn, but 4 is a crowd, you know? Listen, thanks. Don't mention it. Tell Wanda Cerebus says hi. I sure will. I sure will. Click, clack. Hi, honey, I'm home. Did you have a nice day? Hi, honey, I'm home. Did you have a nice day? Yes, Wanda. Yes, I did. I had a bad dream, I think. But, it's best not to think about it. Dada. And of course, to belabor the point, Spawn is trademark and copyright Todd McFarlane. Cerebus is trademark and copyright Dave Sim forever. So there you go. That's Dave Sim writing Spawn and Todd McFarlane drawing Cerebus decades before Todd decided to cut the legs off Dave Sim and steal his thunder for being the only American creator to consecutively draw 300 issues of his own creator-owned comic. Final thoughts, Dr. Ben, on this issue?
I am going to belabor the point that why is the baby white? That is not Spawn's child. That isn't the same. They've had the child in other Spawn comics, haven't they?
Yes, Spawn and Wanda. Al Simmons and Wanda have a baby, but Wanda is also the name of Todd McFarlane's wife.
But it's not that baby that he picks up in the comic isn't.
Cyan? I don't know. Is she Todd's baby, or is that the name of Spawn's baby? I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, so let's say it's Todd's baby in real life. He's drawing in there in Spawn. Like, can you pull that part back up, because that's
Oh, I'd love to.
just the picture of the.
I'd love to.
Okay, so like that's definitely not Al Simmons' child. Is my point, right? This is Al.
That's definitely not a human baby.
It is also definitely not anything resembling a human child. This is more. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make sense, because it's not like they're saying like, okay, Spawn is Todd McFarlane, right? Like, that's not what they're saying.
Well, that it says earlier in the book, Spawn, but I am not Spawn.
Is that what it's supposed to mean? Because it's like, it keeps talking about his creator. He's like, who are these guys? Oh, their creators sold them out. He's like, that's what we got to stick together and not have our creators sell us. So like, that's what I'm saying. It's like Spawn is separate from Todd McFarlane, and yet I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't really. What is Dave Sims' point? What is his point? I don't understand. I mean, as a kid, like, I definitely like loved this. Like, I was definitely, the Joker's hand. I forgot, like, it's the octopus thing there. It's like, that was a good catch. But I remember like looking at this as a kid.
I was thinking, actually, because we talk about this in the Cerebus 8 comic, we tried to identify all these, and we got Superman, Spider-Man, the Thing, Venom. We've got Wolverine, Batman, Wonder Woman, the Punisher, the Hulk, the Flash, and I thought maybe one of these metal hands might be Doctor Doom.
Okay, I could see that.
I thought about it. You said Colossus, so maybe Colossus and Doctor Doom, the Joker, and one of these. You said one of these was Captain America, right?
Yeah, that one with the red. That has to be Captain America. It's like a red glove and then a white sleeve.
And Shazam. And the yellow here might be Aquaman.
No.
What about this gray thing here?
I don't know, because it has like weird cloth fingers too, doesn't it? Or is it regular fingers? Yeah, it is kind of weird. Like, see what I'm saying? It has kind of like claws almost. I don't know. And the yellow one. Which one? What's even yellow? Like, I can't think of any yellow.
Hawkman?
Reverse Flash?
Hawkman?
No, not. He wouldn't have yellow gloves. Like, so I'm saying, like, bright banana yellow like that. Like, there's not very many superheroes that have like just bright yellow gloves. I don't know. Banana Man.
That's for Todd McFarlane to know and us to wonder about it.
Or if anyone knows who from their searching of the dollar bins.
Dollar bin diggers, you let us know. If you can name every one of those heroes and villains from the Cage, the infamous Cage in the splash page from Spawn number 10, we'll pin that comment. We will pin the comment if you can name all. Did I say issue 10? I don't know how many hands there are. How many hands are there?
Oh yeah, that's a good. How many are
1,
there?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. If you can name all 18 hands, we'll pin that comment to the top of this video.
Get a shout out.
With a shout out. So Dr. Ben, that's going to do it for our coverage of Spawn number 10. Is Todd McFarlane? Did Dave Sim get up his ass? Is Todd McFarlane jealous of Dave Sim?
Ultimately, I think it's. I don't know if I would call it jealousy, but he views Dave Sim as like an authority.
the top of the mountain, right?
Right. He wants to be recognized. Like
On
if
the
you're a
level
wrestling
of,
fan,
yeah.
you would know that what's his face, the heavyweight guy, the Samoan. He always comes out and acknowledge me. That's
Roman
like,
Reigns,
yeah.
acknowledge.
So same
Diggers,
thing with Todd McFarlane.
Diggers, put a 1 in the comments if you acknowledge Roman Reigns as your tribal chief. All right, Dr. Ben, let's get out of here. You can follow me at my Patreon page at the bottom. You can send us a super thanks that will go towards the purchase of new cameras, new uh, microphones, editing equipment, laptops, stuff to make this channel better. Me and Dr. Ben are both comics creators. We both have comics for sale. Mine at my Patreon page below. You can get The Wizard of Ganj, Too Many Dabs, and hundreds of pages, additional pages of comics in addition to my novels and movies. Dr. Ben.
I'll give a shout out to who is that? Eric Hodson? Is that his name? Or Pixel Trader?
Pixel Trader.
It's doing the AR-13L Little Mermaid comic. I'll have to put a. I'll comment on the video with a link to their. They're supposed to be putting my fan art in that comic.
Oh.
Little Mermaid, Little Mermaid. She's what is it? She's like the Little Mermaid, but she's got guns.
Guns. Little Mermaid with guns.
Great.
Pixel Trader is a supporter of us and our channel here, and a supporter of Dr. Ben. So check out Little Mermaid, Ariel, Little Mermaid. Check that out. And yeah, that'll do it for us today. We will see you at the dollar bin.
Keep digging, folks. Keep on digging.